So this is it, the last game of day 5 of the Champions Trophy, and so much at stake, especially with those fans, the GB fans, desperate for their team to get a victory. They need to win by 3 goals or more against the mighty Australians to get into this bronze medal match. Let's join our commentary team. That's Mel Clulo and Ashley Morris.
Thanks very much, Chris. There is a little bit of drizzle in the sky still. Let's hope it goes around the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre. Great Britain versus Australia. As we just heard, Great Britain must win by 3 clear goals to book a place in the bronze medal game. The umpires coming out. On the left-hand side, Elena Eskina from Russia and Stephanie Judefine from the USA. Smiles from the captain of Great Britain, Kate Richardson-Walsh. There will be, I'm sure, a little bit of nerves amongst the GB team. They may be in good spirits, but they need a win in front of their home crowd to force their way into the bronze medal playoff position. USA booked their place, defeating New Zealand. And there's plenty of people in fancy dress here. We've heard of a few hen parties here at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre. Teams line up, and just before we will have an acknowledgement for Susanna Townsend. Made a debut in 2008, 100 caps for Great Britain. 100 games, she's put a gum shield in her left sock before she runs out. We will now have the national anthem of Australia, which is Advance Australia Fair.
Rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, Advance Australia fair.
And now the national anthem of Great Britain.
Remain standing
God save the...
for the national anthem of Great Britain.
Not surprisingly, a rousing reception. Have a look at Susanna Townsend playing her 100th game for England and Great Britain. Just 5 goals for England, 1 for Great Britain. Young lady from Edgerton in Kent, 2014 Hockey Writers Player of the Year. Can she get a goal on her 100th international? Great Britain are going to need it. They need 3 goals, and we've even got a fly past over the stadium. Is that an omen? Take a look at the Great Britain lineup. Maddie Hinch starts again under the bar. Key players for them are without doubt Lily Housley and Alex Danson up front. They need to get some goals, so it is the link from the midfield to the forwards. The defence has been pretty solid, even though they have conceded goals and lost games, but it's only been 1 or 2 goals in most matches. So tonight they need to shore up the defence. Australia have switched goalkeepers, as they do often in tournaments. Ashley Wells starts under the bar from them. We heard from Adam Commins saying they haven't used their penalty corners, so Jodie Kenny will be expected to do something from that, and also Georgina Morgan wearing number 17. But as we also saw, Catherine Slattery up front is lively. Georgie Parker has created plenty, and Emily Smith is a real goal poacher. Looking at the bench, there's plenty of experience on both benches. Sam Queck has been in really good form. Krista Cullen won't take part. She has an injured foot at the moment for Great Britain. But Grace Stewart wearing number 30, she could be lively. So too Mariah Williams wearing number 24. The rain continues to fall here at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre. They don't look too happy, do they? But at least they're still here to watch the hockey, and maybe that'll warm their hearts. Crowd counting down, some of them holding coffees to warm themselves. Great Britain versus Australia, we're underway. Great Britain needing to win by 3-0. Australia just need a draw to book their place in the playoff for bronze. I'm Ashley Morrison, alongside me, double Olympian, Mel Clulo. Mel, it's a big game for Great Britain.
Oh, it's a massive game for Great Britain, there's no doubt about it. But I think one thing that could play in their favour is they know exactly what they need to do, and that is score those 3 goals. They have got better as the tournament's gone on. They have at least been creating chances. It's just putting them away that's going to matter today.
Well, the crowd urging them on immediately. It was a good break out of defence by Sophie Bray, but 3 defenders, and she really didn't have very much support. And that, to me, has been the problem, Mel. When Great Britain break forward, they've just not had the numbers coming in support.
Yeah, the forward line has been playing fairly deep, and as a result, they haven't really had any options ahead of them. We have to bear in mind all of these teams are still in training phases. They'll be at different phases, and it will be about peaking for Rio. And as I say, it will be getting that first goal on the board and getting this crowd behind them.
Certainly will be. I hate to bring up one stat that is not going to be popular amongst Great Britain fans, but they've played 4 times, these two, in Champions Trophy games and never beaten Australia.
Today's the day, then.
Has to happen one day, doesn't it? The rain continues to fall, but I'm pleased to say the fans are staying in their seats, which is credit to them.
I imagine most of them are used to a summer like this.
And it's coming down even harder, but it's Australia who thought they'd stolen possession. But it's a free hit. Unsworth comes forward looking to take it quickly for Great Britain. Great Britain driving towards the goal from which the rain is coming down, so it's in their faces as they attack. Comes out wide to Ansley. Ansley drilling one towards the D, but Madonna Blythe, the captain of Australia, cleans up, comes back to her, beats Claxton. There's a little bit of a Danny Kerry up in the crowd watching on. He's no fool, not down in the bench under the shelter of the rain. Another free hit goes to Great Britain. There's a bit of bright sky coming in the distance, so hopefully this rain will not last too long as Emily Smith picks up for Australia. The thunder rolls around the stadium and the crowd loved it.
Almost sets the scene for the game, doesn't it?
It does indeed. A stormy day for Australia, maybe. Great Britain needing 3 goals. Haven't scored in the first quarter so far in the tournament. On the attack, looking along the baseline. They get another free hit. Alex Danson, who was so lively in their last game. Good skills from her again, just outside the deep. Wins a free hit for Great Britain. Umpire just asking for it to be taken from the right spot. Brooke Perris got a crucial touch to take it away. And now breaking forward is Smith. Good run forward from Slattery, but Smith was stopped in midfield. She did well to hang on to it, but then Townsend was barged into, but the foul came before that. Looking to play on again was Sophie Bray. She's looking to sniff any opportunity today, and that's what you need.
Definitely. I think what will be key is when the free hits are won, that Great Britain try and take it as quickly as possible so they don't give Australia a chance to reset their defence.
That must have taken a touch off of Great Britain. I know it went out just before the corner flag. So Australia all come forward and try high press and Send Great Britain in. An aerial route, it goes over the head of Claxton and then into the foot of Morgan. Morgan's claiming it was touched by Danson, which Danson intruding into that 5-metre zone. Dwyer sweeps it out to Kenny on the left-hand side. Quickly closed down by Nicola White. Easing just a little bit. Conversion rate on there is not a big one in favour of Australia, Mel. But then, as you touched on in the studio, Great Britain have only scored 2 goals in the tournament. And that was in the very first game. And now Great Britain have given away a penalty corner. We heard Adam Commins saying that they've not been as potent from penalty corners as he would have liked. This may be the first test.
And most teams in international competitions are trying to look for about a 1 in 3 conversion rate. And Laura Unsworth there has given away such a cheap penalty corner. She knows the rule. It's a simple one. It's a basic one. I think sometimes decisions like that by players can cost the team, but it's also, that's where I think coaches also get frustrated.
Australia have scored 1 penalty corner from 22 attempts in the tournament. Kenny and Morgan Waite, they shift to the left, the casters. It comes to Morgan. She sweeps. It's gone into the goal. Well, somehow it didn't look the hardest of strikes. Not sure it took a deflection on the way through. Maybe it did because Slattery's getting the celebration. So a little touch maybe ahead of Maddie Hinch from Catherine Slattery. And she's got herself a 4th goal of the tournament.
So there is a shift at the top, and it is Catherine Slattery, the injector, coming in, ghosting in behind Kate Richardson-Walsh. And the delivery by Georgie Morgan is absolutely fantastic because it goes between Maddie Hinch's outstretched foot. And I think it's actually Georgie Twigg maybe on the post. Her reverse stick. On that side of the goal, you don't really want to be dangling the reverse stick to get the touch. And to be honest, it's good injector play because Catherine Slattery's gone in with her stick down very low. It's more or less hit the stick rather than her actually needing to play at it.
Catherine Slattery, we saw her again enjoying the warm-up on pitch 2 here. She's got her 4th goal of the tournament. If the Australian players are playing for a place in Rio, you would think she has 1 foot in the plane. Super turn coming from Kerry McMahon. Parker helps it out wide. Mariah Williams, Parker making a good run through the middle. Mariah Williams delayed the pass. Stewart it was. It's going to break to the top of the circle. Drilled in, looking for a deflection. It's a 2nd goal to Australia. I think it was Georgie Parker got the touch, and that's just reward. She started the move, as she has so many times in this tournament, but it's bad news now for Great Britain. They need to win by 5 goals.
Well, we've seen this before by Kate Richardson-Walsh getting the team in, but Australia have absolutely started this game, all guns blazing. I mean, it is a fantastic deflection by Georgia Parker, there's no doubt about that, but there are at least 4 Great Britain defenders in the circle. Who's marking, who's being aggressive, who's actually here standing up and saying, I'm here, I want to be counted. And 2-0 down already in this first quarter. It's a long way back for Great Britain.
Danny Carey hiding his face from us. He will be frustrated. He may say everything's ongoing according to plan, but no goals, only 2 in the first game, so they've gone 3 games without a goal, and now they find themselves conceding 2 within a minute. Great Britain ranked number 6 in the world. Australia ranked number 3. You have to take it to these teams if you want to medal at Olympic Games. One of the scary stats, though, as well, Mel, is I know they haven't played in the Champions Trophy for a long time, 87, 89 and 93, but it's 27 years since Great Britain have scored a goal against Australia in the Champions Trophy.
What are you trying to do to me today? As I've said before, there's always a first time for everything, and I'm sure when they've been in the Champions Trophy as England, they've definitely scored, so a number of these players will have that experience against Australia. and I've got every faith that they will get themselves on the scoreboard and start building towards their, preparation and final game tomorrow.
Well, that does show that stats can tell one story that's not untrue. As you say, they have played against England in Champions Trophies, not so often against Great Britain, and that's why you have a stat like that. Well, it has silenced the crowd a little bit. They were fairly buoyant in awful weather conditions, but now those 2 goals have silenced them, and Australia can just keep possession. Pressure being applied by Owsley. Stick was lost. Carried forward by Dwyer. Finds Nanscorn. Nanscorn spins away from Ansley. Pass infield and then carried out by Bung, but that was a well-timed tackle by Joey Lee. Great Britain do have numbers coming forward now, but they're coming fairly slowly. And so the ball has to be played back by Richardson Walsh. And Australia will be happy. Comes to Quek. Quek looks up, fires it out to the right-hand side. Good movement again, looking to cut infield, but it's stolen back. Now it's brought forward by Madonna Blythe. She pushes it ahead to Slattery. Richardson Walsh forcing Slattery wide. That's a well-timed tackle. Captain doing a good job. Deflected, though, by Slattery, and a free hit goes the way of Great Britain.
Just think if Great Britain are going to get themselves back into this game, I want to see them trying to play a different way. And I think in this tournament they've been fairly predictable, which is just basically getting the ball wide and playing the ball down the line. And any decent hockey player will know that the sideline is almost one defender, and then you've got another defender coming in to if you like, double team, whereas a lot of the success that's happened for other teams in this tournament is they're actually attacking the top of the circle or coming in on a 45-degree angle. Great Britain are getting into the circle along the baseline and wide, and that is where you want them to be coming into the circle.
We heard Danny Kerry talking about the processes as well. He's mentioned about that they're working on that. But does he encourage a spark, that if there is a player who sees an opportunity to back yourself?
I think he would like to say yes. For me personally, I think we have some world-class quality players, but I don't think they're necessarily given that opportunity in this situation to show that spark. Now, whether when Rio comes around those players will be given free license, we have to wait and see.
We're going to go pitch side in a second because Great Britain are on the attack. It's good defence, though, coming across, cleaning up from Dwyer. Now Australia look to break quickly. Grace Stewart's gone out of play, so we'll cross to Abby pitch side.
Yeah, and with Georgie Parker. Georgie, what a deflection that was.
Yeah, they're the balls that don't come very often. When they do, it's a nice mistrap into the goal, I guess.
Great start for your team.
Yeah, definitely wanted to put them under pressure and make them make the mistakes for us to really capitalise on today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks very much, Abby. Georgie Parker with her first goal of the tournament, but she has been very lively around the circle.
It's very honest of her to admit it was a mistrap.
I think there's a bit of tongue-in-cheek there.
But you are right, she has been a busy player. She's set up Grace Stewart for a couple of goals and Catherine Slattery as well. And sometimes as a forward, you're often judged on putting the ball in the back of the net. And I think for Georgie Parker, she's been that all-round team player.
Well, we've talked in the past about depression in sport, and she went through a spell of that last year where she felt that there was so much emphasis on how you train, what you eat, and it just got her down for a little while. And that's the tough thing, being an athlete at the top, and especially in hockey where the financial rewards are not great.
And I think that's also a side that people who aren't necessarily involved, so on the outside, we don't see that side of things. I think Simon Orchard was another one that did a fantastic article admitting about some of the, the dark places that he's been. And sometimes you get caught in a hamster wheel and you just keep churning out the same things and you're focusing directly on one situation. And for people like Georgie Parker and Simon Orchard to come out and say these things is great, and it hopefully will encourage others if they find themselves in that situation to be as open and honest as well.
Holly Webb just over-hitting her pass to Alex Danson, but Danson now coming forward to try and hem Australia in the corner. Aerial pass comes to Webb. Webb gets a second chance to create something for Great Britain. Feeds Townsend. Townsend, though, robbed by Claxton in the midfield. Although the free hit goes her way. Thinking it's rather nice for her to be playing here at Olympic Park, where her 100th international, when she supports West Ham, who of course will be playing at the Olympic Stadium very soon. So it's almost like a nice symmetry for Susanna. Great Britain trying to find a way through, but at the moment the gold shirts of Australia just blocking them. Peris just kicking it. No whistle, but played on, and the ball given cheaply back to Brooke Peris. And it was a great chance for Great Britain to counter it. Strong challenge coming in again from Webb, but ridden by Madonna Blythe. Townsend, good steal by her. And now it is a chance. Comes to Danson, looking to go actually on the overlap, but given the ball was Sophie Bray. Danson's gone down the line. It's given back to her. There's numbers for Australia. Danson runs into Stewart, but gets a free hit for Great Britain. This was to the top of the circle to Georgie Twigg. Now there is a chance. Super pass behind the back. That was outstanding from Helen Richardson-Walsh.
Brilliant awareness. It's the ball in by Georgie Twigg. Slight mistrap there on top of the circle. That's brilliant by Helen Richardson-Walsh to know that there was that pocket of space, and Lily Housley wasn't too far away.
I saw an interview with Helen Richardson-Walsh. She's now 34 years of age, but she said when she was 31, I'm going to keep playing until some of these youngsters push me out the team. And when she does stuff like that, you can see why she's still in the team. Great break forward again. It's a super pass. Good chance for Great Britain. White fires it across. Wells, though, gets a pad to it firmly as sliding in was Danson. Taken quickly from the side by Great Britain. Comes back to Queck. Just having to check her run forward. Took a deflection, so long corner.
And this is what I meant. It's a great first one-touch pass, and this is the difference, I think, for me. Here, Nick White has only got one thing in her mind, and that's looking for a deflection. A confident GB side would be smashing the ball across goal, trying to hit the sideboard, hitting Ashwell's right foot, then looking for a rebound. But positive signs, great attack, and actually entering the circle in an area that we want to be entering it from.
In the last minute of the first quarter, 2 goals within a minute. See Australia leading by 2 goals to 0. Smith looks to apply some pressure, got a touch. Adam Commins looking on. Said he wanted his team to go out there and score more goals and not rely on having to go to decisions, making it clear-cut. Danson cuts infield away from Morgan. Headed into McMahon maybe a little bit lucky she didn't get a card. Hey, out! Take it! Green card often issued for offence like that.
I think she's just been told by the umpire to leave the ball.
Well, the ball's going to break clear for Edwina Bone. Can she keep it in play? Yes, she can at the 3rd attempt. To the top of the circle, but the hooter goes, and that is the end of the first quarter. Great Britain are reeling a little bit. Needed to win by 3 clear goals, but Georgie Parker scoring Australia's 2nd after Slattery gave them the lead with a good deflection from a penalty corner. Means the score at the first break is Great Britain 0, Australia 2. As you can see, our cameraman have had to put up with some pretty horrible weather to bring you the best vision they possibly can. This was the penalty corner from Australia, and it was Slattery, the injector, who just ran in and gets a touch behind Georgie Twigg. And then it was a good break forward by Mariah Williams. Came off Stewart. Top of the D, driven in, and a deflection by Parker. And that was 1 minute. It was 32 seconds later. Try and listen in to Kerry, although just as he knows we're going on it. Let's try and hear the captain, maybe. It's a little bit too hard for us to pick up what she's saying. I'm sure, Mel, you'd have a good idea.
I think the basic message is play our game. That's what seemed to come out of that. That was certainly the words that I heard from Kate Richardson-Walsh. And I think sometimes now you've got to not look at the scoreboard, and as she says, play our game.
Going to go pitch side to Abby.
Danny, what do you say to the girls in the huddle then?
Do what we're doing. They're actually playing great hockey. A really poor decision here has led to the first goal. A bit disappointed about that. Unfortunate circumstances in the second one. So we need to keep doing what we're doing. We're creating the opportunity.
And the crowd are behind them.
Absolutely.
Great Britain get us underway in the second quarter. Danson feeds it out to Sophie Bray, who was very lively in the first 15 minutes. She looks to take on Kenny. Kenny stabbing with the stick, manages to get the ball away, but brilliantly coming back was Richardson Walsh to win the ball back for Great Britain. Richardson Walsh again now looking to take on Kenny, drives towards the baseline, comes back, super touch, cross the goal, deflection there, and it is a goal for Great Britain. And it was a brilliant finish by Sophie Bray in front of the goal, but what a run by Richardson Walsh, and a lovely little pass back to her, 1-2 inside the circle.
Oh, it's fantastic build-up play down this left-hand side. Giselle Ansley plays the ball to Helen Richardson-Walsh, and I thought here she was going to look for the reverse stick cross, but she doesn't. It's a beautiful 1-2 with Alex Danson. Richardson-Walsh gets her head up superbly well, and Sophie Bray's not going to miss from there. Good little lead towards the goal, just uses her wrist to deflect the ball into basically an empty goal. 2-1, we've got a game on.
The perfect time to score. But as you said, it was a brilliant little pass from Alex Danson.
It was, and it was the final touch from Helen Richardson-Walsh as well, to actually just that movement of the ball, just 1 to 2 yards across her body, opened up that passing lane to Sophie Bray.
And as you also said, Mel, I think she sold a great dummy to Kenny, because Kenny thought it was going to be the reverse hit across the D and just held off for a second, and by then she was gone. And that's the great thing about hockey at this level, is goals can come thick and fast, and it doesn't take too long. Now Australia hem back 2-1, dangerous score in any game. Great Britain, can they get another goal? And they've beaten that record we were talking about. They've scored their first goal against Australia for 27 years. And their first goal in the first half of this tournament. So the records are falling thick and fast for Great Britain. This gives them now, though, a platform, a goal so early. Danny Kerry looking on from the stand where he always sits.
Still not managed to smile, has he? They've scored. I'm sure underneath that he is smiling, but what a positive start. 30 seconds into the start of the game, and they've got themselves back in it with a well-worked goal.
That doesn't lift their confidence, you don't know what will. They just need to consolidate for a few minutes and then go on the attack again. Here they come, Great Britain. Just off twig.
Good, this is good transition stuff here, Holly. Quick.
Richardson Walsh playing it forward. It's a good pass to McLeod. Having a hurry in the defence is McMahon. Kenny goes over the top, and there's danger now as the ball bounces through to Smith. Smith laid it back to Stewart, but still coming in at the top of the circles. Claxton goes on the reverse, plays it in. Good defensive play, though, by Holly Webb. She calmly dribbles the ball out wide. It's one back, strong challenge coming in. And a good run by Dwyer, played it in, no touch, but Slattery was lurking. Gonna get a card, I think. Yep, it is Nicola White who's picked up a card. A couple of minutes on the side. Australia will look to try and lift in that 2 minutes and make the extra player count. There are some teams, aren't there, Mel, that really do. When there's the 10-man, they do actually look to push on and try and make it really count.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams, well, if you are the team that's down to 10, they sit and they play a half court. But actually, sometimes, why not push up? You might have the 10, so force Australia in this situation, force them back rather than Great Britain sit there. But I think Australia are, or will be, one of those teams that will be quite happy to keep possession, keep the ball, wait for that opportunity to open up, and then they'll really look to hit Great Britain on a counter-attack.
Short pass for Great Britain. Joey Lee has to go back. Driven out wide, but there was nobody there. Brooke Perez picks it up for Australia. She surges down the right-hand side, looks to get ahead of Twigg, goes inside Twigg. The stick just got caught, but it's Great Britain who come up with the ball, then played into the feet of Perez. So free hit, Great Britain. Oh dear, that just went out of play, just a miscontrol. So Perez now gets a chance to run towards the circle. On the reverse, gets a shot in. That's a good save by Maddie Hinch. Just too much space given at the top of the circle.
And again, it's, you know, the strength of Brooke Perez there. There's 3 Great Britain players there, and she manages to basically walk her way into the top of the circle and hit a backhand shot.
Great Britain breaking forward on the right-hand side. Lily Owsley getting the crowd to find some voice here. They're just waiting for the ball patrol to get the ball back on the pitch. But it's given Australia time to get players behind the ball, and there's a little bit of argy-bargy going on further up the pitch between Morgan and Joey Lee. Britain back to their full quota of players on the pitch. Richardson Walsh was just like a pincer movement the minute she received that ball, but did well to get the pass away, although Australia come up with the free hit by applying more pressure. Played out wide, Smith goes to the corner, gets it under control, comes back to Jodie Kenny. Kenny fires it top of the deep. Very important touch from Richardson Walsh now, coming back and helping out in defence, the architect of Great Britain's goal. Trying to play 1-2s up the right quick, though just robbed in the end. And Australia just calming things down. Sablovsky. Aerial pass again, Richardson Walsh went for it, missed it on the half volley. Slattery trying to get inside the circle along the baseline. Slattery kept it in play, but the best she can do is win a long corner.
Yeah, Catherine Slattery does really well there. So difficult when along the baseline when the ball's up in the air. Defenders are scared that you're going to just put the ball on the stick, on the foot, sorry, but if you don't, you could get a shot away as well. Kenny
is trying to lift it again. Joey Lee bravely closing her down. Gives away the free hit, goes back to Dwyer. Donna Blythe. Blythe helps it out onto the left-hand side. Super turn from Bone. Good defensive play coming back. So really good work by Great Britain there.
Just shows the amount of work that Great Britain are putting into it, because it was Alex Danson as one of the defenders in that bottom corner, and now she's working her way all the way up to now be the highest player up the pitch.
Certainly the forwards have been working very hard, both up front and defensively for Great Britain.
When I did the coverage in Valencia last summer, they prided themselves on basically their defensive play, and then they were able to win matches 1-0, most of them 1-0.
Flash of lightning over the stadium there. And the thunder rolling in behind, but it's raining, or it's just not raining certainly as hard as it was at the start of this match. Donna Blythe looking for options. There was nothing forward, so she has to come back. Bone will sweep it out onto the left-hand side to Kenny. Kenny closed down by Twigg. Kenny struggling to get past Twigg. Twigg still trying to stop. Now Unsworth joins in. But Australia get a free hit. Umpire just being very deliberate as to where they want the free hit to be taken from. Kenny lifts it out to the right. Sablovsky brings it down well, looks to drill it in, took a deflection, and now it's cleaned up defensively. Into the corner it goes. Stick was low down, but well played Great Britain. Ricocheting off the leg. Now it's over the top. Bray had made a good run forward, but Dwyer watched it all the way onto her stick. Now Owsley looking to play on quickly. Took a touch, but Williams came back and just nicked it from the blind side. Unsworth with a lovely little off drive to feed the ball into the path of Owsley. Rather, it wasn't Owsley, it was White. My apologies. Oh, dear me. That's hit Richardson-Walsh in the jaw. She's gone straight off. And, of course, she had a bad jaw injury before.
I mean, it's clearly accidental. You could see exactly what Claxton was trying to do. Probably going to need a stitch or two in that, but as you say, in London, she broke her jaw. You just hope it's not as bad as that one.
Absolutely. She broke it against Japan. I think it was the opening game, wasn't it? And then courageously came back. No one could quite believe she came back. Played in by a straight deflection from Slattery. Good save by Hinch and brilliant by Queck. A penalty corner's been given, but I think that was all good by Great Britain.
It comes off an Australia leg, I think, on the far post rather than Great Britain, but danger signs. Georgie Parker involved again. And Catherine Slattery, how many times do we see her in that situation? And it's Georgia Nanscorn on the far post, and it comes off her leg. If it hadn't been overturned, it would definitely have been a referral, and this would have been the outcome anyway.
Well, the Australians had already made their way back. They knew. You could see Nanscorn's reaction gave it away.
She's probably hoping that Catherine Slattery didn't get the touch. But again, two players prepared to be 4 yards out from goal in the danger area.
We'll probably forget that save from Hinch in time, but it could prove crucial if Great Britain get back in this match. Mariah Williams, though, is on the attack for Australia. Driving to the top of the circle, comes to Stewart. Stewart claiming she was impeded. And Pyatt goes the other way, and it's a free hit to Great Britain. Great Britain defending stoutly at the moment. Especially when you consider their captain's race down the tunnel. Kate Richardson-Walsh, let's really hope it's nothing serious. Awarded an MBE in 2015 for services to hockey. Frustration from the crowd as that pass goes to nobody. Stolen by Great Britain, but the free hit goes to Australia.
I think they just needed to be a little bit quicker, Great Britain, in setting up whether they were going to press because the ball had gone in the corner or whether they were going to hold out as they are now. And Australia just managed to take a quick sideline and win a free hit further up the field.
Webb dispossessed Georgie Parker and also gets the free hit. Webb just tops that pass forward, just miss-hit, and so it goes through to Australia and they regain possession. McMahon back to Morgan, back to McMahon again, but she can't keep it in play. Good chance for Great Britain to score at either end of the second quarter and go in at half-time level if they can. This is the perfect time to be mounting an attack. Scored in the opening minute of this second quarter. Thunder continues to roll around the stadium. Too far for Susanna Townsend to keep that in play. Dwyer, early pass. Deflected, though, well by Danson, working hard again. Even back to Australia. Williams. Short little pass to Dwyer, who runs forward. Danson coming back again. Danson getting... No, not getting the free hit. I thought that was a GB ball.
I think Australia made a fantastic start to the game. They played with a high tempo, purpose, were creating lots of chances. And Great Britain have managed to come back into the game. I think the goal literally at the start of the second quarter has lifted their spirits, and it's nicely balanced at the moment.
It is indeed. Though Great Britain do need quite a few goals to get into the bronze medal playoff, but they will be, I'm sure, if they can get a win in this game. That's just a key thing. If Danny Kerry is working on certain things within the team structure, he will just want them to get the win. And Britain with a short pass out of defence. It was played to Holly Webb. Now the aerial pass. Touch from Bone, sees it deflect towards Morgan. Kenny looks to drill it to the top of the circle. Picked up again by Webb. Good pass from her, finds Sophie Bray. Bray trying to break over halfway, playing it forward for the runner McLeod, but it was just too far. And McLeod urging the crowd to get behind them, I think, and also to get the players forward and put pressure on the Australian defence.
I think that's what Hannah McLeod does really well. She coaches St Albans here in England. And I think sometimes players who are coaches in clubs can understand situations, and other players then react off those. And Hannah McLeod does a hell of a lot of work as a defender. I think she's one of the best defensive forwards that we have, and I think that actually allows Sophie Bray and Alex Danson and Lily Owsley to really express themselves.
Danson's not done badly herself defensively today as a forward. So Australia playing it across the back line as we approach the final minute of the first half. Intercepted again, well done by McCallum. Comes back from Bray to McCallum. McCallum to the baseline, plays it across, ricocheted off Ashley Wells. Still alive from McCallum, and it's just kept in play by Jodie Kenny. And McCallum managed to get out of the way, but it was a great opportunity for Great Britain to go in level at half-time. They've got the ball from the side, looking to play on quickly. This was the run from McCallum across the goal. Wasn't cleared by Australia. McCallum on her knees tried to get it back in. Australia, you feel, just hitting that up the side just to ease the pressure at the moment.
I think they're quite happy to go in at half-time, 2-1 up, refocus the group, listen to Adam Commins and get your tactics right coming out into the second half.
Crowd count down, the ball lifted high and driven towards the D by Dwyer. Hooter goes and Stewart pulled out of the shot because it would have been dangerous. But it was Sophie Bray who scored at the start of that quarter to give Great Britain hopes of recording a victory over Australia in this final pool game. Score at half-time, Great Britain 1, Australia 2.
Slats, we're now on Slats terms. Stoked with that first goal?
Yeah, really happy with that first goal. You know, we wanted to come out fighting and get on the scoreboard early, and that little touch, yeah, I was very happy with that.
And just saw lightning behind us, just adding a bit of atmosphere to this game.
Yeah, the crowd's awesome. Home crowd obviously for GB, but it's really exciting to be around. And although the weather is difficult, yeah, it's a really good game so far.
This is our British summer. We'll let you get in, and then good luck for the second half.
Great, thanks very much.
Yeah, it's fantastic performance from Catherine there, and as you said, the weather is getting worse and worse. Thunder, lightning, look at that. But the crowd are staying for this. Not surprising, because we have had a cracking first half. Australia coming out fighting. GB still in it though. It's Australia lead by 2-1, but don't write off the British just yet. Well, welcome back. The rain has tried its best to ruin the atmosphere here at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre, but the hockey has been absolutely electric. Australia going into a 2-0 lead, but Great Britain have given themselves a very outside chance of getting back into this one after that fine goal by Sophie Bray. So there it is, 2-1 to Australia. Australia having more shots, 7-3, more circle penetrations. The Great Britain, as expected, have more possession. Penalty corners where we've only had one so far. Just in case you're just coming in, watching the hockey, earlier in the day, the Netherlands beat Argentina by 2-0. That means the Netherlands finished top with a 100% record. But those two teams will go head-to-head again tomorrow in the gold medal match. New Zealand drew with the United States. That means the United States are already in the bronze match. And they're waiting the winners of the Great Britain-Australia. There we are. As it stands, it's Australia-United States in that bronze medal match. Great Britain need to beat Australia by 3 goals or more to overcome Australia and get into that bronze medal position. They've got a lot of work to do. So, Marsha Cox and Sarah are with me. Now, Sarah Thomas, we wanted a bright start from Great Britain. There was the intensity there, but as ever, we keep letting the opposition score that first goal. It just knocks the stuffing out of the side.
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. As a player, you know, to go 2 goals down in the first 6 minutes is really not good. But I think they've applied themselves really well, GB, and they've come back into this game with a finely worked goal. But some fantastic goals from Australia too. It really was an exciting start to the game.
Been some great hockey in some absolutely horrendous conditions, Marsha.
Yeah, it's been quite entertaining for us, I guess, with the thunder and lightning making an occasional appearance. But I think that it's shown that, you know, at this level, you've just got to concentrate on your job at hand, and the players have just continued playing through it. And like Sarah says, some great goals from Australia and a nice, exciting performance from England in the second quarter.
OK, let's have a look at the first goal. We thankfully talked about this young woman. We think she's just a great talent, don't we, Catherine Slattery?
Yeah, I mean, we say it all the time. She's so good in that 5-yard area. But look at this. It takes a slight touch off Hinch, I think, and comes up onto her stick. But what's good about it, her stick doesn't move. Like, you know, you need to be really strong with your grip on your left hand there. And normally you'll see a stick fly away, which is why a lot of goals aren't scored. But her stick just stays there, and it just shows the strength of her in that position. And that's a great deflection to get their first goal.
Yeah, can I bring your attention, because I know Danny Curry, the GB coach, wasn't happy with what led up to that penalty corner. It's this particular incident. He thinks there should be a free hit for Great Britain. What do you think about this, Marsha? It's just coming up here. We'll show it in slow motion.
Yeah, I think it is definitely a controversial call. It comes off the Australian stick into her body, and initially the ball is not dangerous, so I can completely understand why they believe it's a GB free hit. But once the blow has gone against you, whether you agree with it or not, you've got to stay disciplined and not play the ball, and that's where I think they've let themselves down. It's
you've got to
just
react.
Discipline. Exactly. The calls don't often go your way, and you've just got to play through it.
Yeah, like it is now, it then really began to rain very heavily, but Australia stayed focused, and this is a great little touch.
Yeah, Georgie Parker, I mean, she's been busy all week and she showed some fantastic skills. But what's great about this is her ability to stay in front of the defender and use her body to make that difference between the two. And look how quickly she gets down. It's an ever slight touch, but, you know, it's shaped it perfectly to go towards goal. And that is real awareness of a goal scorer, knowing where the space is, knowing where to put your stick at the right time.
Yeah, and you can sense the crowd going, oh my goodness, this is going to be a very long, miserable afternoon in this rain. But what a goal for GB to produce, and what a time.
Yeah, it was a really fantastic build-up with Helen Richardson-Walsh just bringing the ball in, which is one of her strengths, so you want to see her doing that. Lovely give and go, and then just setting Sophie Bray up in front of the goal. And Sophie Bray does really well, if you watch her movement, when Helen's running with the ball from a different camera angle, you actually see her get herself nice and free in between two defenders, so she makes it quite confusing for them. At this angle you can see it, so they're not sure which defender is marking her, and she's completely free. I think she does really well.
Yeah, really well. But I mean, to Helen and Alex, the link, the connection between those two, having played together for so long, they know how each other plays. And I think the point we've been making all week with Great Britain is to get players closer together in those danger areas and make something happen, just as we saw there.
Yeah, I've got to say, we both, all three of us, were very concerned at this moment. It caught her in the face there, didn't it?
Yeah, that looks bad. I mean, given that Kate's already had a terrible injury to the jaw in the Olympic Games in London 2012, that really is a sensitive area for her, so I genuinely hope she's okay with that.
Well, I can tell you the good news is that she is going to go back out there. She's brave, we know she's tough.
Yeah, really
and
tough.
My goodness, is her team leader right now. GB against Australia. Let's join our commentary team, and that's Charlie and Mel.
Well, she's actually not going back out there. She is back out there. Kate Richardson-Walsh. She is made of steel, that woman. As Australia come on the attack. Great Britain with it all to do. The rain coming down again here at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre. Great Britain just need to carry on where they left off. Kenny pushes forward though, and Claxton got the ball a little bit stuck under her feet. Fires it top of the circle. Smith tries to turn. Gets the better of Richardson-Walsh. Deflection out long corner. That's Emily Smith all over, makes things out of very much nothing. And we've been advised that Kate Richardson-Walsh has stitches in her upper lip. We don't know how many. Inside the D, cleaned up by Georgie Twigg. Good work by her, takes it away from Parker. But Australia still trying to hem Great Britain in. Quick desperately trying to get out from the corner. It is a free hit, though. There is the captain courageous.
Showing us her good side at the moment, if she's got stitches on the other side.
Shot just outside the D. Hinch kicks it straight back. Chance for Australia, but slipping was Parker. And Great Britain managed to play the ball clear. Danson gets the free hit. Hockey players really are tough, though. They take some blows. I mean, I've seen obviously some of the players around the hotel. There is the stitches and the sutures on that. And the bruises you see on some of the girls as they're in reception at the hotel, you think, wow.
Yeah, as you say, they all know it's part and parcel of the game and it's a hazard, but more often than not, you get absolutely smashed with a ball on the leg, and it is just a case of rubbing it 3 or 4 times and just going, okay, time to play again.
But their scars worn with immense pride. Great Britain missing that challenge comes to Paris. She shoots at the back post is Smith, and Smith at the second attempt pushes Australia back into a 2-goal lead. Emily Smith was just waiting there. She didn't get it under control first time. She did it the second, and into the empty goal. 3-1 Australia.
Yeah, again, it's Kate Richardson-Walsh had to step out for the initial. I think it's Brooke Paris here, sorry. So Kate Richardson-Walsh leaves her player. Holly Webb has to then step on to Catherine Slattery, who once again is in that danger zone, looking for the tip and touch, which leaves Emily Smith all alone on the back post. Misses the first opportunity, but because she's so alone over there, she's then got time to do that, and that's not always easy when you've got that much time and the ball's in the air. Sometimes players can put the ball over the bar. 3-1 to Australia.
Trust me, when I play table tennis, those are the shots I miss. A wonderful finish by Emily Smith, and I'm sure she'll be dedicating that goal to Kelly White, the teammate from Crookwell in New South Wales, who's been ruled out of the Olympics with her 3rd ACL injury. It's so sad. Smith on the ball again, free hit to Australia. Paris plays it back to Madonna Blythe. Madonna Blythe put under immense pressure by Danson, who's been fighting every second of this match for Great Britain. Drilled in. Again, it goes towards Smith, but it was a good lead from Holly Webb just to get there ahead of Smith and win the free hit for Great Britain. You had a reason to do it for your captain. She's really leading from the front, Kate Richardson-Walsh. Bray trying to deflect, but good work by Claxton. Claxton pulls away from Bray. Unsworth not happy with the umpire's decision. He's told a story all of its own. Morgan, whose mother we saw in the stands for the early stages of the tournament. Every day she had the Australian flag. Bray cuts in from the side. Can she spark something? Just given away, though, by Twigg.
I still think, although it hasn't quite worked for Great Britain there, that's more of the style and pattern of play that I like to see from them, where they're just keeping the ball a lot shorter, and then it's bringing in the likes of Georgie Twigg or Susanna Townsend, Shona McCallan, whoever's in the midfield, whereas I think they've been guilty in this tournament of almost trying to hit long distances.
It's going to be a card. Edwina Bone, I think, trying to argue with Elena Eskinen. Doesn't do her any good. So now it's up to Great Britain to take advantage as Webb goes into a challenge, shoulder to shoulder with Slattery. Gets the ball from the side. 5 Australian players just in that ring. That's a good pass to pick out Danson. Good break inside the circle from McLeod. Danson still going, now tries to find it. Came off Kenny. And then it's a free hit to Australia.
It's a great ball by Holly Webb down the line. And I just thought Alex Danson does really well there. You can see she's running with her head up, and I thought she was going to crash the ball in. Sophie Bray, we've just seen her come into shot at the end there. Hannah McLeod does well to lead to the near post, and Sophie Bray was all alone on that far post.
I just feel it needed to be played a little bit earlier. Easy to say from up here. Danson involved again. She's worked hard for her team. Now it's White, tries to drill it. Picked up well by Bray. Bray got it inside the circuit, just dribbling out of play. Danson again working hard, but it will be a long corner for Great Britain. They've got to move it infield. It has to be taken directly opposite where it went over the baseline. Twig goes back to Richardson-Walsh. Swept out to the left-hand side. Transferring it to the side. Now it's a ball played forward to McLeod. McLeod hemmed in, manages to spin, gets it into the circle. Morgan will get there. Desperation, though, from Sophie Bray, but she's been penalised. Crowd don't like it. Be interesting to look at that one again.
So it's as the ball breaks out here. And this is something Sophie Bray is exceptionally good at. Well, there's nothing in that whatsoever. If anything, Georgia Morgan's hacked Sophie Bray's stick. But that is something Sophie Bray is very good at. Her tackle back and her reverse pressure is probably one of the best that Great Britain has to offer, and I think she definitely deserves to feel hard done by there.
Well, it did look a good tackle, and certainly on the replay it does again. Australia are back to their full quota of players, but it's a good spell of pressure from Great Britain. Can they close that gap once more? Over the ball is Holly Webb. She looks up and all she sees is goal. Goes back to Richardson-Walsh, fields it to Twig. Twig being chased by Bone, who's just come back on the pitch from 2 minutes on the side. Into the circle. There's a good run, and it's a free hit just outside. It was a good run by Townsend. Just moments now of good play from Great Britain where you think they're going to break through the Australians, but just breaking down that last pass.
No, that just has summed up their tournament really so far. But they are still being positive, and I think that's the most important thing.
Dwyer feeds the ball forward to Claxton. Claxton almost first times it. Nanscorn's at the penalty spot, but good tackle from Richardson-Walsh. Still alive at the top. Dwyer blocked by red shirts. Looks for a decision. Play on is the call, although I think Australia may be going for a referral.
Can you check please a foot in the circle for the penalty corner?
I'm checking an Australian referral for a GB foot in the circle.
Yes.
Okay, I'll look for you.
Kelly Hudson from New Zealand is the video umpire. She's going to be looking for a foot. Australia were pretty sure there was a foot.
Elena, I have a decision for you.
Agreed.
Elena, I have a decision for you. There is a Great Britain foot in the circle, penalty corner, and they keep their referral.
Okay, thank you, Kelly.
And to be fair, GB had already made their way back behind the goal line and to the halfway line. So Australia with their second penalty corner. They scored from the first. Adam Cummins had said pre-match he wanted them to do better from the penalty corners. Maddie Hinge looking at the top of the circle to try and work out what routine. She would have watched videotapes galore of Australia playing and what they do from the penalty corners. Jodie Kenny waits at the second battery. Goes to Kenny, she sweeps it high to the left of Hinch, and it's a fourth goal for Australia. And you feel they've got 1 foot in the bronze medal playoff. High fives on the bench. Jodie Kenny getting a second goal of the tournament.
I mean, Jodie Kenny has not got very much to aim at. Hannah McLeod runs an absolutely superb line, which can really only leave Jodie Kenny, a yard maybe to aim that ball down, and she's done exactly that. She has delivered, and we heard from Madonna Blythe the other evening that how much they love to celebrate with someone like Jodie Kenny because they know how much time and effort she puts into her set piece.
Well, she was the Hockeyroos Player of the Year for 2015. She was also their leading goal scorer last year, and they do need her goals from penalty corners. Great Britain come on the attack. It was a reverse hit from Lily Owsley across the circle. Nobody home, though, to get a deflection. And the coach a little bit down in the dumps, Danny Carey.
I think Australia have started this half exactly how they did the first half.
Great Britain bursting into the circle. Richardson Walsh earns a penalty corner and the crowd find their voice. Well, a good run from Helen Richardson Walsh.
Fantastic play by Helen Richardson Walsh, putting the pressure on high up the field, rides through a number of tackles. And to be honest, the ball isn't going anywhere else off Madonna Blythe there. She has every right to ask the question, but I think it was perfectly well explained to her. The ball was going nowhere else apart from off the baseline. Could this be a lifeline for Great Britain?
Well, they need a goal now as McLeod has made her way down to the baseline to inject for Great Britain. Waiting at the top of the circle. McCallan is there. And also Holly Webb. Swept towards goal, just wide, and they're looking for a referral. The attempt coming from Giselle.
So if you'd like to refer. All right, Kelly, we're looking for a foot in the circle. Can you check for me? Australia foot.
Hi, Steph. Just checking for a foot in the circle.
Thank
Great
you.
Britain looking for a foot. And that's quite hard to tell, actually.
I was going to say, it's very good running. It's something we see very often with Dan Fox and a lot of other #1 runners, where they keep the stick very close to their shins. Doesn't help that the stick's the same
Steph,
colour
I
as
have
the
a
shoes
decision for
either.
you.
Go ahead.
There is a foot in the circle. It is a penalty corner. Keep the referral.
So Great Britain get the retake. The crowd are happy. They'll be even happier if they can convert this into a goal.
Sometimes when the referrals are so instantaneous after an incident, more often than not, that tends to say that the team is 95% certain that they're going to get the call.
Players don't get it wrong that often, to be honest, as Ansley waits again at the top of the circle, just shifts to the right. Unsworth was the stopper, moves across. Ansley takes a touch, went up into the player, still alive, and an advantage boost played, and then the penalty corner given.
Edwina Bone runs a fantastic line. She's really quick to the top, and then what she does really well is she balances herself, so she slows down and she's trying to read what's going to happen on top of the circle. Maybe the excess water's slowing the injection down, which is why Laura Unsworth's now gone to inject the ball.
She has indeed, and Nicola White will be the stopper. Stops, hit this time by Webb, saved by Wells. Webb trying to keep it alive inside the circle. Australia scrambling it clear. Kenny doing well. Paris coming back and hemmed in the corner now.
Almost the old school hit now from Holly Webb, and Ash Wells does exceptionally well. She is a tall goalkeeper, so she feels a lot of the goal. I think Adam Commons has got an interesting selection dilemma going on between his posts, because I think both goalkeepers are outstanding.
That was a very good save. She logged, obviously, because it wasn't a drag flick, so it has to hit below the backboard or on the backboard. So knows it's going to be a low shot, and then just got a mitt up to keep it out. Great Britain with a good spell of pressure, breaking forward again. Joey Lee, though, dispossessed by Paris. Paris, who's also had a good tournament for Australia. I know that was at the Darwin International Hockey Open, and she got a little bit of a sort of tough talking to from Adam Commons at the end of that tournament. Comes through to Smith. This is a great chance. Brilliant save by Hinch. Ball stuck underneath her. Comes free now. Stewart trying to lift it over Hinch. Somehow Hinch managed to stop it. Ball still alive by the looks of things. The umpire perfectly placed, and it's gone out of play. Well, Maddie Hinch has done it this time and kept Australia at bay.
I mean, it's a long ball in by Jodie Kenny. Holly Webb misses her trap. Emily Smith does brilliantly to move the ball from left to right and open up the option for the goal, but this is indoor style, which Maddie Hinch is outstanding at.
She certainly is. That was brilliant defence from Maddie Hinch. Australia, though, are coming again. Drilled into the circle. Quet got a touch, so that should be Oh no, it's going to be a 16. It's really as well how Maddie Hinch took up hockey. She was playing rounders and apparently threw herself around so much. The PE teacher says, I think you better be a hockey goalkeeper.
Yep, I hear you.
That's far too long. No, that's far too long. They can't take that long.
Well, it was quite a long time. Kate Richardson-Walsh saying that Australia took too long. I do tend to agree with her. It was a long time after the event.
Absolutely. The call has come from the Australian bench. I always thought you had, was it 20 seconds roughly from the incident taking place?
Is there a push?
I think
that's shoulder to shoulder.
Exactly.
To me.
For me, hockey is a physical game, and all Sam Quek has done is she's slightly in front of Catherine Slattery, which is fantastic defending. That for me is a 50-50 decision.
But the other thing is Slattery runs in on a slight arc, so she's not actually running shoulder to shoulder. So she actually, to me, is the one who runs into Quek.
Correct. That's how I feel, and I think this is a 50-50 decision. And I think it's a silly decision. A silly referral, sorry, not decision, because we haven't had it yet. And I think if it goes against Sam Quek, they've been hard done by.
Australian players have made
Elena,
their
I
way
have a decision
back.
for you. There is no clear reason to change your decision. Please start with a 16 as the ball went over the baseline. That's
So
correct.
Australia lose their referral.
But again, for me, Catherine Slattery, she was happy with it. She was the person involved in the incident. She didn't go for the referral. Somebody else did, who was,
Emily
10,
Smith,
exactly
yeah.
10, 15 yards away from the incident, or it's come from the bench.
Australia are usually very disciplined. They don't have wild people running up claiming for... Well, I know Adam Cummins doesn't like that if it happens. I don't know many coaches that do. In the final 3.5 minutes, can Great Britain get a goal? Owsley breaking forward. Needs to sweep the ball. The water, I think, just held that pass up. She just didn't get the right connection. Now Slattery's done well just to deflect the ball away, but Unsworth has come back and she's won possession for Great Britain, pulled it away from Slattery and got the free hit. Looks to drive that forward. Bray with a clever deflection infield, but was a long way ahead of Townsend, celebrating her 100th international. She won't be happy with the scoreline at the moment. She would have liked to have celebrated this milestone with a win as Peris breaks forward now for Australia. Into the circle it goes, but again it's good defending this time from Twigg, and another blow to the face. I'm not sure what that was that actually caught her, whether it was the stick, I think, just caught her under the chin. She's coming back to her feet, which is good.
Initially, it's great positioning by Georgie Twigg to get on that line. And she tries to lift the ball over Brooke Peris's stick, but Brooke Peris didn't actually fall for it. Ends up playing onto Georgie Twigg's body for the penalty corner.
Oh, she just caught her just below the chin. Of course, Craig Parnham had a really bad injury. It was a fractured larynx many years ago when a stick caught him against Malaysia, the coach of USA. So Morgan and Kenny wait at the top of the circle. Soblowski injects. They go to Kenny. Kenny sweeps too high this time. Crowd love it. Quek looking up for options, just plays the ball wide. Change the... Oh, and that was a really difficult ball, which meant her pass forward for Townsend. But Danson's done really well to get ahead of Kenny. Townsend in support. Danson, though, goes off the stick of Edwina Bone, and it'll be a long corner. Quek's come forward, leaves it behind. Twigg self-passes. Again, there's just a wall of gold shirts preventing her hitting that towards the goal. Richardson-Walsh helps it out onto the left-hand side. Driven forward now by Webb. Webb to the baseline. On the reverse, comes across, saved by Wells. It was a good ball in from Sophie Bray. There was nobody there on that front post.
No, they've certainly been more patient today, Great Britain. Trying to get players into the right positions. think it has certainly been their best game of the tournament so far, which is all you can really hope for.
I say it's all about building through the tournaments, and obviously the Olympic tournament would be slightly longer than this one. More teams, and they are in the same pool as well in Rio.
Opening game, I think.
Yeah, will be interesting. Also in Pool B are Argentina, the USA, India and Japan. Now, Australia will have played all of those teams in the lead up to Rio. And I can tell you, India are a team vastly on the improve, and Japan are no easy beats. So it's a very tough pool. Drilled in, deflection was going to go out for a long corner, still is, as Hinch kicked it over the baseline. Kenny deflected into the circle, free hit though to Great Britain. Twigg fires it forward, deflects off Morgan, but cleaning up at the back is Dwyer. Pressure being applied by Bray, and also coming in from White, but Australia managed to clear their lines. Mariah Williams trying to now get the better of Richardson Walsh. The free hit goes Australia's way. Mariah Williams plays on. Mariah Williams again into the circle, looks for a foot and earns her team a penalty corner. That was intelligent play. Nothing really on from Mariah Williams, so she just found a foot.
No, she did really well. Initially taking on Kate Richardson-Walsh there, and then Laura Unsworth steps out to double team, and it's almost a simple ball on the foot. And I think possibly an area that GB will want to tighten up on leading into Rio is their circle defence. Trying to actually make the tackles outside of the circle as best as you can. I know that's hard with players running at you, but start to be a little bit clever. Actually do the hard work, get yourself outside the circle, so if the ball hits the foot, it's just a free hit, not a penalty corner.
So Morgan and Kenny, and Dwyer is lurking as well. They go to Morgan, the hooter goes, she fires, it's deflected out of play, and in fact deflected out of the stadium. As the hooter's gone, it's high fives for Great Britain. They prevented another goal, but they're going to be going into the final break with still a lot of work to do in this match. We go into the final break, and it's Great Britain 1, Australia 4. Australian players going into a huddle. Adam Commins giving his instructions. This is Emily Smith's goal. At the back post, she didn't get it the first time, the deflection, but she got it the second.
Yeah, and again, I think it's the positioning of Catherine Slattery that makes that. Kate Richardson-Walsh had to step off, Holly Webb stepped off, and that's Jodie Kenny at her best, really, isn't it? Straight above, I think it's Shona McCallan is the post player. Hinch is unsighted by the running of Hannah McLeod, and it goes above McCallan's head for the fourth goal.
It was certainly travelling. McCallan nearly got a touch, but that was travelling.
Yeah, it's tough. It's, you know, you have to make decisions as a post player and the goalkeeper. Do I stay low, and does the keeper take high?
Well, we're going to go pitch side now because Abby Griffiths has Adam Commins with her.
Yeah, now Adam, you wanted to see more potency in the penalty corners. You've certainly had that.
Yeah, they've done very well today. A couple of good saves there by GB as well. Look, I'm still disappointed with a few defensive lapses. We've given a couple of very good chances to them. We need to be on our game and make sure we don't give any more this quarter.
Good luck in the last quarter.
Well, it is Great Britain who will push back and get this final 15 minutes of the last pool game underway. Hardy British fans braving the weather to try and stir their team on. That gentleman looked as if he was from Canada, and they're not even playing. In fact, it will be Emily Smith who pushes back. I was thinking because Alex Danson had the ball at her feet. It's going to be her to get us underway. Now it's Twigg, surrounded by Australian players. Mariah Williams comes up with the ball. Twigg fouls in her attempt to get it back for Great Britain. McMahon, a little bit of space, spun away from Danson's challenge, kept going, feeds Paris. Paris on the reverse, shoots, deflected off a Great Britain stick, long corner to Australia. Now looking for options, goes back to Morgan. Morgan fires it into the circle, swept away well by Ansley. Still with Australia, Mariah Williams from the side. Self passes. maybe tried to be a little bit too flashy and has miscontrolled it.
Might as well try. It's not a bad place to try it in that top corner.
Spin, and it's gone out. It'll be another long corner. Parker doing more good work in and around the circle. McMahon looking to try and find a way through, but the stick was down from Alex Danson again, and there's a card, I think, going to be issued. McMahon was the player who's picked up the green card. That was frustration that she was robbed of the ball so easily. Well, Great Britain played on, but she was not the required distance according to the umpire. That's why the card was issued. White feeds the ball inside to Twigg. Twigg, 4 players from Australia around it. Tried to play it first time was White, and Kenny's stick 1 possession back. Now it's Emily Smith with Parker breaking on the right-hand side. Smith checks back under pressure from Twigg. Morgan and Kenny's out wide. It will now come to her. McLeod closing down and trying to urge the left-hand side of Great Britain to come up and close Australia down. Stewart, though, gets the ball, goes inside Webb. Stewart sweeps it to the top of the circle, looking for Parker. Parker got her feet out of the way well, but that was robbed in the end by Nicola White. Still alive for Australia, though. Parker again applying pressure on Townsend. Too much pressure and illegal pressure.
It's a fine line, isn't it, up there? Because you want your strikers to really be hunting the ball and winning it as high as possible. But Susanna Townsend wasn't really going anywhere. And Georgie Parker's just really gifted an easy out for Great Britain by giving away the foul.
Morgan just played that after the whistle, maybe got away with that deflection off Slattery as the ball is played forward, and Soblowski now under pressure, and she's just cracked that into Alex Danson. Danson, though, just shakes it off. I think she's in a bit of pain, but again, another tough customer. Just gets on with it. Comes out now to Peris. Peris just drills it forward to Slattery. Here's trouble. Hinch has come out. Slattery spins. Good save by Maddie Hinch.
Great hit by Brooke Peris in. Clever run by Slattery, and a fantastic piece of skill, really, to try and do that.
Kenny from the long corner. Again, it's lifted. Again, we see a player going down. McCallan. Shona McCallan, though, back on her feet, hobbling a little bit. I think that caught her sort of fairly high on the knee. There's a lot of whistles at the moment. It's just turning into a little bit of a scrap out there. And Peris again with a key touch, and I have to say, it's great to see Brooke Peris and Mariah Williams getting so involved. They're both from an Indigenous background, and when you consider that only 2.5% of the population in Australia are Indigenous, to have 2 in a squad like this is fantastic.
And they thoroughly deserve to be there as well. They're fantastic players with bright futures. You can see them being in the Hockey Rouge squad for many years to come.
We'll pass across the pitch to Kenny. Again, it's a brave challenge when you've just been hit. Nicola White. Certainly the GB players putting their bodies on the line for the cause. Kenny, jink to the left, then open up to the right. Strong challenge coming inside the circle, but decision goes the way of Great Britain against Claxton. And that's the pass just clearing the danger, I think. Just heard a cry from Kate Richardson-Walsh urging her players on. Donna Blythe getting a little bit of a push in the back from Bray. And I think we're going to see another card. Green card, and Sophie Bray's already sitting down. Oh, Madonna Blythe is gone as well.
Not taking the free hit from the right place.
Well, Sophie Bray's coming back on. I think she thought it was for the foul, and it's actually Madonna Blythe for not taking the free hit from the right position. And now Australia's saying, well, where do you want us to take it from?
Well, it's not a GB ball then if you've not taken it from the right place. That's, personally, I find that, you know, inside the attacking 25s is when you want the free hit to be taken exactly where the infringement has happened. There was nobody around Madonna Blythe there. Why did it have to come back to the exact spot on the pitch?
Queck on the ball for Great Britain. Again, it's a lot of pressure from Australia.
Leave the ball!
So we're hearing that Madonna Blythe, although she was the player taking the free hit, because she is the captain, and they would have been warned about not taking the free hits from the right place, that was why she picked up the card as Great Britain go on the attack. So it was actually her infringement, a repeated infringement apparently from Australia, so the captain penalised for that. Great Britain with the long corner, take it. Townsend was trying to get on the end of that.
Whether she's taking it for the team or not, for me, is irrelevant. All the players want to do is play hockey. All the crowd wants to see is playing hockey. And I understand if it's 30, 40 yards away from the infringement, yes, of course, blow it back. But there was no advantage to Australia.
Well, I thought Madonna Blythe just pretty much played on. The foul came from Bray, and she just kept going. She maybe didn't stop the ball directly. But it's Great Britain now on the ball. That's history. Madonna Blythe can watch from the side. Queck for Great Britain. Short pass to Twigg. Twigg then feeds it forward to Richardson-Walsh. Richardson-Walsh, who created the first goal, just dinked through the legs by Parker of Queck. Richardson-Walsh lifts it past Mariah Williams. Brilliant skills again. Now she surges towards the circle. Into the circle she goes, looks to lay it back. Not hit a foot, and Australia managed to carry it clear. Helped forward by Madonna Blythe, who's back on the pitch. The Australian captain having served that 2-minute suspension. Again, it is Helen Richardson-Walsh who's sparking things up front for Great Britain. Twigg goes out wide to Queck again. Good lead by Bray. Bray looks to cut infield, feeds Richardson-Walsh. She goes into the circle, goes for a shot on the reverse, and unfortunately for Great Britain, it spins and slips away. Now it's laid back. Townsend could score on the 100th, hits it into the foot of Madonna Blythe and wins a penalty corner. It's all happening.
Certainly is. Helen Richardson-Walsh has been at the heart of a lot of things that Great Britain have done here. But you can see the difference there, the stutter, as she goes to take the reverse stick shot. But Lily Owsley does exceptionally well, and I really thought here, bang, goal, thanks to the 100th cap. But Madonna Blythe does really well to close down, and at least GB have the penalty corner now.
I was convinced that was going to be the celebration goal. So can Great Britain pull a goal back? Just under 7 minutes remaining. Comes out. They work a variation. Richardson-Walsh appeals for another penalty corner. It goes Great Britain's way. Incredibly, they are the only team in the tournament not to score from a penalty corner yet.
Opting for a variation, a double slip left to Kate Richardson-Walsh. I don't think the ball was quite in the right position, because you can see she had to take probably a longer touch than she wanted to. Kirsten Dwyer does exceptionally well to read it again at the top of the circle, and I think Australia have been brilliant at that today.
So Richardson-Walsh has gone to the second battery. They still go to Ainsley. Ainsley, it was looking for the deflection from Unsworth. Unsworth pounces on the loose ball. Dwyer again clearing up at the back for Great Britain. Goes to the baseline, played it into the foot. I think it was of Unsworth in the end, so it'll be an Australia free hit. But just that one, it just looked like the timing wasn't quite there. The execution wasn't too bad.
Yeah, whether the trapper at the top was meant to move to the left or not, I'm not sure. Obviously, they're trying Laura Unsworth on the slap.
Lovely skill from Townsend behind the back. Just a little nudge into the circle. Australia under pressure, and it's Dwyer again. Now played onto her foot, was it? It's gone off the stick over the baseline, so it'll be a long corner, Great Britain. Doesn't look to be exactly where it went, how to play opposite, but anyway, play on is the call. Good deflection forward, but it's easily picked up. And Mariah Williams goes left, then right, then left again. Comes to her once more. Pressure and stolen brilliantly by Danson. Danson looks to play it in, but again it's a miss-hit. And it gives possession back, and then she gets the ball on the hand. So it will be a free hit. Played on again quickly. Owsley fires it across. Comes a deflection off Madonna Blythe. Another long corner for Great Britain. Good spell of pressure by them. Every single player for Australia inside the final 22. Now they push out. Comes out wide to Quek. Quek steps inside and looks to slide the ball forward. Townsend got a good touch again at the top of the circle. But it's going to be an Australia free hit, and Jodie Kenny was looking like she was going to take her time, then saw Mariah Williams in space. There's a good lead from Emily Smith, but Williams just playing it off the foot of Owsley. In the last 5 minutes of this match, it looks as if it will be Australia who will be playing off for the bronze medal. You'd have to say, Mel, that probably that is deserved when you consider, you know, they had 2 tight games against Argentina and the Netherlands and had a few decisions that some would say went against them.
I think on the balance of the whole tournament, absolutely Australia deserved to be in that bronze medal game, and you know, GB will obviously have to play for 5th and 6th and then regroup and refocus going into Rio. And I think all the games tomorrow actually, you know, will be fascinating. I think New Zealand and GB, neither side would want to be playing in for 5th and 6th, and it's important to win that final game of any tournament.
Smith fires it forward looking for Slattery. It was too far ahead of Quek. Slattery shoots. Quek, brilliant. Outstanding the way she recovered. She was beaten by the pass, but somehow managed to come back just as Slattery was shooting.
Oh, it's fantastic by Sam Quek. A lot of defenders would probably have given the ghost up there. Catherine Slattery could have rolled the ball to the far post to Emily Smith, but don't take anything away from Sam Quek. That's what you call class defending.
Sam Quek, who captained England in the Champions Trophy 2014. Coach looking on, Danny Kerry will be happy with challenges like that. We've got a blast on the whistle. So the Australian player has been given 5 minutes, Brooke Perris. So she will play no further part in the game. Didn't actually see what that was for. Comes across, Smith is there defending. Shot on the turn by Great Britain, but again it's good defending by Australia. White denied. Comes to Quek. Quek just deflects and it comes out again. Fired into the D, was off the foot. Trying to bring that down was McLeod. Penalty corner given. Australia don't have a referral, so they can't argue.
It's the wrong foot. I think she's changed her mind. The moment that she gave the penalty corner, I think umpire Judah Fine realised that she'd made a mistake and immediately blew her whistle and gave the ball to Australia.
It's good that she admitted the error of her ways and it's gone the right way. No complaints from any of the players after that decision was reversed. There's a little bit going on off the ball, but nothing nasty. Richardson Walsh stepping out, pressure from Nanscorn. And the pressure pays off. Now, again, not playing, I think, or the ball not stopped on the side. They're being very pedantic with some of these rulings at the moment, and it is breaking up the flow of the game.
It's just a fine line, isn't it, between playing the laws and the rules of the game and allowing a game to flow. And, you know, when you've got both sides almost shoulders down, just, we want to play, just let us play. And umpiring is that thankless task because they're always going to be criticised if they're not consistent.
And especially by the team that loses.
Absolutely.
Overhead pass thrown and it's gone on the angle. Slattery gave it up as soon as she saw the angle that it was going. Knew she was never going to get there. Richardson Walsh We're approaching the final minute. Townsend helps it forward. Looking to sweep that out wide, but it was stolen back by Sablovsky. She goes the reverse. It was good intercept and well placed by Richardson-Walsh. Webb with the outside trying to find Bray, but Bray can't keep the ball in play.
I think that is just the difference. That pass from Helen Richardson-Walsh, had it made it to Hannah McLeod out wide, Great Britain would have absolutely been on the counter-attack because there wasn't an Australian defender out there, and those are the small things that don't go for you in one tournament that suddenly go for you in another. At least they're trying to do the right thing, and that's all you can hope for as a coach.
I was saying that Mark Hagar said that to me as well. He felt his team, just the rhythm and the connections weren't there, but he was quite happy with some of the aspects of their play, and he felt that it was just a matter of timing and they would click. And you've touched on it, Mel, that this pitch is quite slow, and I wonder whether maybe that's what's affected some of the players, just the pace of the pitch.
Yeah, I think with the amount of water that's fallen on it, it has to have had an effect of some description. So, you know, you've got to play to the conditions, but it's certainly not favouring some teams at the moment.
Hooter goes, and that is the end of the final pool game. Adam Commons Hockeyroos have been victorious over Great Britain. Great Britain needed to win this game in order to book themselves a place in the bronze medal game. Catherine Slattery started the scoring for Australia in just the 5th minute, and from then they never really looked back. There was a little bit of a wobble when Sophie Bray scored for Great Britain to make it 2-1. But then Australia just powered on in the second half with goals from Smith and Jodie Kenny. There's Bray. Her goal will not mean much, and Danny Carey will have plenty to think about tonight and get his team up to playoff for the wooden spoon. It may sound a little bit cruel, but they've gone from Euros to zeros, bottom of the pile here at the Champions Trophy. Final score, Great Britain 1, Australia 4.